Welcome back. Nothing says Saturday like cracking open a cold beer, so let's get the party started, as Charlo the chef would say.
But he's left now, so we're on our own getting the party started. But we've got Susan Boyle with us to take us through some Irish beers that are all brewed using homegrown hops. Good morning, Susan.
It's lovely to be here.
We're continuing our education today.
Yes, we are. So some really nice beers. It's so lovely to be able to really champion beers that have like kind of this kind of homegrown ethos with it, because normally we don't really consider Ireland as a nation that grows hops very successfully. So hops are the lovely things that gives your beer bitterness and then also gives it those floral, gorgeous flavours as well. And hops, they grow as a cone, and these flowers from these hop plants tend to be kind of prone to mildew or molds or those kind of things. And because of our lovely wet climate, it means it can be a challenge to kind of grow our own hops here. But that doesn't stop some really imaginative brewers just tending them a little bit more.
I was going to say, how do they avoid that problem?
They just have to spend more time over it. Like they just have to make sure that, like, if mildew comes into something, that you kind of get rid of
They're
that.
like Laura, they take a bit of minding.
Take it just a little bit of minding, a little bit of time, a little bit of minding with it. But successfully, we have 3 beers here, and they're not the only
what
beers
are we starting with, Susan?
that are growing hops themselves in Ireland. But we're going to start off with the first Irish hopped beer that was on the market. So this is from White Gypsy, and this is their Emerald, and they have been producing this from locally grown malts and locally grown hops as well. So this is 100% Irish beer. They're from Templemore, and this, I think, it's a lovely, like, it's an easy drinking, it's fresh. I'd say nose it first. Do a big like sniff and a swill on that, because you get these kind of like aromatics from the hops as well. And also these beers are like fresh off the market. So the hops like were just harvested a number of weeks ago, and then they're just in the bottle now. So we're tasting fresh. Because the thing with hops, you want them to be fresh and to be really nice. It's lovely. It's got a really nice malt body.
That's really gorgeous. Very nice and light.
Nice, light, easy drinking, delicious.
The freshness and lemon.
Lovely.
Yeah, exactly. All those kind of citrus things that you're getting from these lovely hops. It's good, isn't it?
By the way, we should now introduce Susan as the award-winning writer.
Oh yes, I'm an award-winning beer writer.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
I should have a little drop of beer in my glass. Why not?
So
I was over in London at the Gilded Beer Writers Awards, and I was nominated as a regional beer writer with my sister Judith. We co-write together for the Leinster Leader, and we came second. So we won a silver award. I'm very excited.
Well done, congratulations, and well deserved. Because
it's wonderful. It's really nice.
Very good at educating us.
That's really nice. So price point on that?
Price point on this, I think you're getting it at like 3 something, depending on where you buy it. So keep an eye out for it, but definitely under the €4 mark.
Is it strong? Is it
5% ABV? So really nice, easy drinking, delicious.
Next one. Great start.
Right, up next, one of the newer breweries that we have on the Irish market. This is Balika Brewery. So they have been, they've just. What's interesting about these is they're based on a farm. So they grow their own barley. They have it malted in Minch malt, where they keep track of exactly where the barley goes. So it comes in the containers and gets delivered to the maltsters, and then goes through a specific line so that then they know exactly where that malt ends up, and then it ends up back on the farm, where then they make it into beer and they brew it. And they've just got their license to start their own brewery, because they've been brewing somewhere else at the moment, and they've grown these hops as well. So you have these really lovely fresh hops. And what's nice about this is they've used hops both for the bittering fact and for the aroma as well.
Because it can be tricky, can't it, for the brewers to sell their product on site or to supermarkets or...
That is true. So yeah, we've just had a change in licensing laws now, so it's going to be possible for breweries, which is great, to be able to host tours and to be able to sell their own beers as well.
Which is so important.
Really good.
This is really stupid observation number 709.
Okay, go first. I love that.
I love 708.
This tastes differently than it smells.
Yeah, so it will
I was expecting that to be a lot more malty, a lot more Guinnessy.
Yeah, and then when you taste
it... It's much more carbonated. It's a proper beer. It's a lager.
Yeah, it's great. It is. So this is a pale ale, but it's really nice and fresh. And again, has those kind of like biscuity qualities that you look for in a lager, the cleanness, but then also these lovely hops as well.
Good price point on those
hops. Yeah, so really nice as well.
€3.69.
So yeah. So these for something that's completely like, I mean, literally field to bottle. This is what you're talking about. Growing their own barley, malting that, and then bringing it back.
It is an artisan, truly artisan product.
Yeah, it is, and new and really just on the market really recently. So
very
lovely.
Well, the best of luck to them, because it's a gorgeous product.
We're moving on to Wicklow.
So
this is a brand that we'd be familiar with, because we
filmed
down there.
Oh yeah.
We filmed down there, 2 lads, and they set up, and they very kindly took us around the brewery and showed us everything, how everything was made, and I found it fascinating. And they do tours as well.
They do, yeah, they really do, and they've been making some great beers, and this is their locavore. What's nice about this is they've been making this for the last number of years as well, using homegrown hops as well, hops that are grown in Wicklow. So this is really unusual. And this year, what they decided to do is bring out 2 different versions. So they made the same base beer, which is oatmeal pale ale. So that means that it's been brewed with a little bit of oatmeal. Oatmeal gives you this lovely texture in a beer. It makes it feel a little bit thick and creamy when you taste it. A little bit cloudy, you'll notice in the glass too.
Feels like, isn't it?
Yeah,
Cloudy.
that's coming from the oatmeal, because there's just particles from that end up in the beer, so that you don't end up with a completely clear beer. But this is lovely and biscuity and delicious and gorgeous. And this has been hopped using kind of English-style traditional hops. While the other version that they've done, they've hopped using American hops. So you've got same beer, but 2 different ones. So I'm just showing you this one.
It
This
smells
is called
of
the Top Field. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It just tastes like more.
So
That's it.
drinkable.
It's
that
really
one,
lovely, isn't it?
Yes,
I think
there's
this comes
a
out really
sweetness
nice.
to it.
Yeah, it does. So it has this little bit of like kind of malty residual sweetness with it, and then these lovely aromatic floral hops, which you don't expect from Ireland. Like, so when you grow hops, it's almost like the terroir of the place that you grow it in. The area affects what the oils are like in the hops. You know, so that's why certain countries like the Czech Republic and Germany have become really famous for growing hops. And then these tropical, amazing hops come from like the States. But it's nice to know we can hold our own as well.
And at the awards recently, presumably you were very proud to stand over all these brands.
So proud. It was really wonderful.
Yeah, but you
to
know
be
what, Susan?
recognised
You
like
very
that,
rarely pick a product that we don't like.
Oh, well, you see.
You're
I'm
not-
fortunate, there's lots of great things. But that
You
said,
have a great selection.
I taste an awful lot. So I taste hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of beers.
What a
and,
horrible
you
job.
know,
But
out of all that, you don't always end up with something wonderful. So it's really nice to be able to champion great beers.
Well, 3 great beers there.
Really
Thank you
lovely
very
options.
much, as
Yeah,
usual.
really nice.
Thanks, Susan.
Thanks,
Thank
Susan.
you, as
It was great.
always.
Thank you.
Now, earlier on, we didn't. Someone got stuck into lamb stew for lunch. Here's how Charlotte made it.